Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 39 of What If Naruto Was Given a Second Chance. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto. Travel to Hoshirama's time over in Anime King 2 and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as the world had broken out in a full-out war, ninjas were scattered everywhere, as they were along with their platoons. Gaara, Jiraiya, Darui, all of them were leading their platoons to off a different direction, as ninjas were mixed from all nations under one banner, the Allied Shinobi forces, as they want to get rid of this threat that was trying to kill them all. Everything was calm as they all was gathered until it happened. An eruption of white Zetsus suddenly started to come from the lake. The ninjas quickly spring into actions. They start to attack the creatures. But their numbers were large, over 100,000 of them. But that was not the big deal of what was going on. The real thing was the reanimations. We then escaped Naruto's house as Konan was there. That is what Jiraiya was talking to Yuji about a couple weeks ago, as she gave her access to be there. Jiraiya didn't want Konan to lose her mind trapped in a cell alone. He's not sure when this war is going to end, and he's not sure when he's going to return. But they put chakra suppression seals on her just in case, even though Jiraiya was well aware that she wasn't going to do anything. But that is what Yuji asked for her to stay there though. But Konan was more than happy enough to add on the chakra seals on her body. She became good friends with Kushina because Kushina was overall a nice little girl. She was glad that she didn't do anything stupid that day of harming this girl, as Kushina brought her into the room where Naruto was to visit him. As she watched him there sleeping peacefully, he was still unconscious. It's been some time now. She has come to terms with what happened a long time ago, after seeing that she failed to save Nagato a long time ago. As Kushina went outside, saying that she'll be right back, as Konan was reaching for something as she accidentally slipped, as she fell over. At that moment, Naruto opened his eyes, as he had said goodbye to the old man, the Sage of Six Paths, as him and Kurama had returned back to this realm. She was surprised, as Naruto told her not to tell anyone yet, as he went and go take a shower, as he told her to go for a specific set of clothes for him in his room, which she did, as she was confused the way he was talking to her, so pleasant and nice, like they weren't even enemies, like they were friends for a long time now. After that was over, Naruto made his way outside, as a bunch of emotions went off, mostly happiness as Kushina and Yuji was happy to see that he was awake, but they both knew that he had to leave, as he was a bigger help out there in the war. After all, they could feel the overwhelming presence just coming from him. Just by standing near him, it was warm and gentle, as he said his goodbyes and told Konan to stay here and protect them, just in case. And with that he left. Back on the battlefield, Madara had been reanimated by Orochimaru, as after seeing Sasuke take out the third Raikage, Orochimaru just wanted to see the depths of Sasuke's power right now, as he was using Madara to see what Sasuke was capable of. But that was when Madara pulled out the meteor from the sky, as he dropped it on the Allied Shinobi forces. But then, in a blur, something smashed right into it. Sasuke simply smirked, as he just had to be a show-off as the entire meteor exploded. All of the pieces were blown away, turned into mere dust in the wind, so no one got hurt. So yeah guys, that was basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across to the PlayStation and check it out for yourself. So it's the beginning of this new episode. He's fast, said Madara, as his eyes narrowed towards the side. A hand was placed on his shoulder, as Naruto was standing right beside him. Mew was there as well, as he was currently being controlled by Orochimaru at the moment, who was talking out of him. Madara looked towards Naruto. "You have some good eyes there," he said. "Whoa, we're matching," said Naruto, as he looked at Madara Rinnegan. His hand was still placed on Madara's shoulder, like it was no big deal, as all of the ninjas down below were confused, wondering what the hell was just going on. After, the Golden Blade returned and destroyed that giant meteor, and now he was just up there, talking to the enemy. "You know, Orochimaru," said Naruto, "this reanimation of yours is quite deadly. I mean, if a Seal Master wasn't here, your reanimation would have completely rocked the elemental nations, you know that." As Mew then finally spoke, his voice sounded like Orochimaru. "I must say I'm impressed. The rumors, the speculation of your death, it has always thrown me for a loop." "Huh? And why is that?" said Naruto. "Because I know you. From the first time we battle, I get the sense that you are never one to give up that easily. And it seems, after all of this, you managed to survive somehow. And not to mention coming out of the whole ordeal with those magnificent eyes. You don't even know half of it," said Naruto. "But I wonder though, where are you? I suppose it's long overdue that we have a little chat." "Oh no, my boy Naruto," said Orochimaru. "I think it's time that I finally got rid of you." "Oh? And how exactly are you going to do that?" said Naruto. "You should be well aware that these are reanimation, as you just spoken. So you should know, with the Edo Tensei, I can revive those who have long died. Those who you are no match for, even with those eyes. After all, one of them is standing right here, and when the others do show up, you will be brought to your knees finally. You know, I was wondering when you and the Masked Man started to work together. I couldn't put the right timeline together, but I can see now that you guys are in a cooperative joint, right? But won't he be pissed off at you if you went and killed me? I mean, if you kill me, the Kyuubi will be reformed and it will take a couple of years, messing up his plans." "So this boy contained the 9-tailed Jinchuriki," said Madara, as he looked at Naruto. "Oh yeah," said Naruto, "and he really hates you. I'm gonna have to hurt you, really badly, for him to be satisfied for what you did in the past to him. So it has come to this. Have you and that beast gotten together and become friends? To think with those eyes that you now possess, and the control that you have, the things you can do, but yet, you rely on idiotic friendships. Just like you will never understand." "Oh, that's where you're wrong," said Naruto. "You're the ones that will never understand. Old, idiotic relics that are still stuck in your time and your ways. You're the ones that will never understand. And you, Orochimaru, you should have known. I have studied all the sealing's art of the Uzumakis. And you should know one thing, sealing is one of the strongest ability in this world. Ninjutsu, Kinjutsu, Genjutsu, Taijutsu, all of them are nothing when compared to sealing. So this reanimation of yours, I'm gonna show you why you picked the wrong opponent to fight," said Naruto. And with that he vanished. As he appeared down below, Madara looked down at him, as a small smirk was on his face. This one seemed worthy of fighting. Something that would truly get his blood pumping. Yes, this shall be a magnificent dance. Meanwhile, Anko was dodging as bones erupted from the ground everywhere. She extended snakes from her sleeve that wrapped her in a tree as she swung around the tree dodging off the bones. She flipped as she drive her heel down, but Kimar twisted his body and grabbed onto her heel and swung her and tossed her. As he slammed his hand on the ground, a large bone then ejected out. Anko extended another snake from her sleeve, but Kimar fired a bone and destroyed it. So she could not lash onto anything, but she substituted a log as the log got impaled. As she then appeared behind him and drive her heel forward, but he turned as her feet got caught right in his chest, his bones holding her feet there. As he extended 2 bones from his wrist. "Time to die," he says. He brought them down. But in a flash, his 2 arms were removed before his body was thrown back violently as he smashed into the tree. As Anko had 1 foot up, so she lost her balance. She was about to fall, but she was caught into the comfortable embrace. This was not Jiraiya. Jiraiya was here fighting with her and a few other Konoha shinobis, And she knew most of them, but this feeling, it felt so familiar and warm to her. And at the same time so comforting. As her eyes widened, you know, dazing like this on the battlefield will get you killed. And I mean, we haven't really had sex yet, so for you to get killed and for me to lose you, that would be really bad. As Uncle looked up, her eyes widened. It was really him. He was really awake. All these bottled up emotions, where the two of them were trying to get each other to break first. And neither of them wanted to do anything about their current situation. And when she thought that she lost him, and that she would never see him wake up again, it hurt her. Yes, it hurt her a lot after finding out what he did, risking his own life to bring all of them back. But now he was here. Her body moved on its own. She lunged forward and wrapped her arms around him as she planted a gentle, passionate kiss right on his lips, not really caring if they were surrounded by war at the moment. As they broke the kiss, "I missed you," she said, as she held on to him. "I missed you too," he says. He held on to her. "But sorry, I'm not the real deal," he said, as Uncle looked at him. "Just a clone," he said to her. "What?" "But I'm glad," he said, "because if the original did came, he would have gotten that lovely kiss. And I'm glad it was me. Well, he will get the memories after I dispel. But I'm not going to be dispelling for a while, so that will be good then. How about another one?" She stopped him. "Where's the original?" she asked. "Oh, he's fighting Madara. He sent a couple of us out for the big plan. But I'm glad that I decided to take this section because that kiss, I mean, god damn it, woman. It was just marvelous. Even his clones could make her blush." As she didn't realize something. Is he okay enough to be in the battlefield right now? It is not long since we left Konoha. Is everything? Don't worry. You know how he is. And trust me, he is more than enough. Ready to be in the battlefield. As Jiraiya didn't appear. Naruto? As Naruto turned, been a long time, pervy. Naruto was cut off as Jiraiya hugged him. "You know, I'm not gonna be kissing you," said the clone. "What?" said Jiraiya as he looked back. "He's just a clone," Uncle said. "Come on, even though I'm a clone, I still have feelings, you know." Yeah, I don't really care," she said. "Huh, cold heartless bitch." "What was that?" she asked. "Oh, nothing. I just here to report that the boss is back on the battlefield. He's currently dealing with the real Madara." "Is he back at 100% to be out here already?" Jiraiya asked. "He's fine, trust me," said the clone. The clone then unsheathed his blade without even looking, as he blocked several bones behind him. "Whatever you guys did to the boss, it made him more than enough stronger. Trust me, this war will be over soon enough." As he sheathed back his blade, he then extended his hand. Suddenly, branches grew from his sleeve and shot towards Kimimaro. Kimimaro extended two bone swords as he started to strike them. But the branches proved far stronger as they smashed and break his bone swords before his body was sent smashing into the ground. "Oh yeah, gotta thank Bachan for this," he said, as the clone looked at his hand. Meanwhile, Hagu burst through the ninjas. As she was using a blade, Senbons were really ineffective at this. Most of these shinobis were not really alive, and also the Zetsus, they were different. Their bodies were not really mostly human. So she was using a blade. After all, Zabuza had taught her Kinjutsu for a couple of years now. Currently, she was in the battlefield with Kojiro. Zabuza was over to the sides. He was facing off against other 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Kakashi Hatake was with him as well, and another ninja dressed in green, a green jumpsuit, and he was quite loud, but from what Haku could see, he was quite strong. She looked over as she saw a glob of lava incinerate 3 of the white Zetsus as she saw her leader, Mei Terumi, as Mei was on the battlefield, as she was taking down Zetsus from left to right. As Haku clenched her blade, she knew that she had to be strong, despite the way that she felt for a long time now. She had to be strong, as she had to fight for Kiri. She had to protect her leader just in case. She had to watch her back. They had to win this war and stop this nonsense, so she could finally rest and grieve. As she dashed forward to one of the reanimation ninjas, she had to prepare herself. This was Reiga, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, as he had the Kiba blades, as they were crackling with lightning. The both of them met in the middle and clashed, as the sparks flew everywhere. She winced in pain a bit as the electricity from his attack burned her hand just the slightest. She jumped back and went through handstand and slammed her hand on the ground, as ice started to cover the entire place where her feet was. He flipped and drove his blade into the ground. A chorus of electricity spread out everywhere, melting the ice. He swung on his own blade as he came towards her, his feet extended forward. At the last moment, he swung his blade around, straight towards her head, but she flicked her blade and knocked it away. As she grabbed her hilt back and threw it straight towards him, it pierced right into his stomach. As she went through Hanstein, thousands of needles appear above him as they start to rain down on him. As she created that giant ice spike that stabbed into his stomach and pierced into the ground. Sailing team, she called out. As the sealing corps came over, as they seal away Reiga's body. Good work, Haku, said Mei as she came over. As Mei was holding one of her hands behind her, giving Haku a sweet smile. Thank you, Mei-sama, said Haku. Suddenly, Mei pulled out a kunai. Haku, the real Mei, called out. As Haku's eyes narrowed the slightest over to the side, to see the real Mei over there. So this person was a imposter. As the person was already so close to the kunai, right, coming towards her. Before her hand passed the back of her head and reached out in front of her. She was surprised as the hand was coming from behind her, but she never sensed anyone appear behind her so fast. Who was this person? As she noticed the hand wrapped around Mei's throat, the imposter, and lifted him up off the ground and smashed him into the ground with so much critical force that he broke underneath him. I mean, that is just despicable. Transforming into someone so beautiful and using them like that. Even to hurt such another beautiful angel. You White Zetsu disgust me. As he drive his blade down, ending the White Zetsu's life. Haku was confused. She feared the worst. But if he was a reanimation, why would he be helping them? As she readied herself, but he turned. She saw no signs of reanimation, no hollowed eyes, no cracked skin. Naruto? I guess I have a lot of explaining to do. The clone looked at her and said, How are you? I thought that you... I guess Konoha had to keep the information a secret. Otherwise, too much people would have known. And it would have been too difficult to keep me safe. But I guess it really hurt a lot of you. Sorry about that, he said, as he looked at her. She was confused until the real Mei came over. As Mei looked at him, Naruto, she said, You're awake. Haku looked towards her. What do you mean he's awake, she said. As Mei turned towards her, I'm sorry, Haku, but I could not tell you. It was a kept secret between the Kages. Well, except for Oniki. He was not involved in this. Just the ones who have come to befriend Naruto. So, he was alive, Haku said. As Naruto stepped forward as he held her hand. Please don't be mad at me, he said. They did it to keep me safe. And also to keep most people safe as well. Because the masked man would have targeted them if he found out. And you'd have killed a lot of you guys, trying to get information. Being a ninja, she understood. As she knew that most things had to be kept secret, so things don't turn out this way. But she couldn't help the tears that came to her eyes. Tears of joy. She thought that he was dead. Yes, most people thought that he was dead when they heard the golden blur was struck down. It hit her bad. As things started to click. Mei-sama, did you know that the both of you were sleeping together? As Haku blushed in embarrassment. Haku, you take me for a fool. No. As Mei just gave her a small smile. Yes, I knew. But Naruto is currently someone that most women desire. And also, he's not one to give up on a woman just because he has another one. He loves each of them, conditionally. As Mei turned and she smiled at him. So you didn't mind? Well, I'm a bit upset that you lied to me. And didn't tell me what was going on. I mean, I thought that we were friends, Mei said. Yes we are. As Haku blushed in embarrassment, making me laugh, as the clone laughed as well. You know, girls, to make it just better, we can all go and have a good time. Mei turned towards him. Naruto-kun, I'm happy to see you and delighted to see that you're awake, but we're in the middle of a war. I mean, come on, she said. Come on, he said. As Haku looked at him, you look different. Different? What do you mean, he said as he turned his head. I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, Mei then stepped forward as she looked at him as well. She poked him. You're not the real Naruto, are you? Sorry, just a clone, he said. So, that would make it much easier, right? I mean, we can go and have a good time, and then come back to this war. A bit later on, as the two of them blink, they wanted to punch him, but they were afraid that they would dispel him. He was really thinking about doing something like that at this current time. They were in a godforsaken war. Well, I tried, the clone said, as he then pulled out a sheet of paper, as Mei and Haku saw a scenery on it. What's that? Asked Haku. Oh, something to make this war a more even scale. What do you mean, said Mei, as he then smiled at her. You will know soon enough. Mei and Haku were thinking about the real Naruto now. They were overjoyed that he was awake, while Haku was happy that he was alive. But they tried to keep their excitement in. They were on the battlefield. But the both of them were thinking the same thing. When they find the real Naruto and get a hold of him, they were going to straddle him for the entire night, non-stop, just over and over again. After all, they missed him so much, and especially that part of him that they love. As the both of them got a rather perverted smile on their face, the clone snapped his finger. Hey, you two okay? Yes, we're fine, said Mei, as she was blushing. Noticed Haku blushing as well, as she wondered if Haku was thinking the same thing. Oh, Haku, you naughty little girl. What are you talking about, Mei-sama? Oh, I was thinking the same thing. You don't have to worry, said Mei, as she had that sweet smile on her face. Meanwhile, you just had to take all the spotlight, didn't you? To come on the battlefield at grand entrance. Of course, said Naruto as he looked over at Sasuke. I mean, if I didn't come out that grand entrance, it would be like, whoa, the golden blur is back, but nothing more. But with that, it was like, oh my god, it's the golden blur. I can't believe it, he's alive. He's really back. Huh, I guess you're right, said Sasuke, as he gave Naruto a small smile. I'm glad that you're okay. As Naruto looked towards him. You know I'm still not gay, right? Sasuke could only shake his head. Huh. Who would have known that I would miss this antic of yours? The acting so silly. I wouldn't call it silly, said Naruto. How is this possible, said a voice, interrupting the both of them. How are you alive? As the both of them turned to see Oniki flying right there. Oh, old man. You know, you and I never really got on good terms. Do you still hate me, Naruto asks. Oniki looked at Naruto. There is not much reason for me to hate you, he said. But I want to know, how are you alive? I thought you had died. Well, that was just something to keep the speculation away. Because you see, the masked man would be after me. For these, Naruto says, he pointed towards his eyes, as Oniki saw the Rinnegan in them. So, you still have that? Of course I would. Seems like risking your life for your entire village. And coming back give you a couple of porks, said Naruto. Some healthy porks, he says. He looked at his hands. Sasuke looked at Naruto as he could tell that Naruto has gotten stronger. Not to mention what happened, as he wondered if it had actually worked. There was a small possibility, but given who he was, and the family bloodline that he was passed down in, there was a high possibility that he would gain that ability. But still, Sasuke had no idea, but he could still feel it. This power from Naruto that felt stronger than before. But he was no pushover either. He has gotten strong as well. After all, he has trained. And his eyes were not 100%. And things are not going to be the same as last time when he knocked him around. This time when they had their battle, Sasuke was going to show how stronger he has gotten. Before Oniki could say anything else, something crashed right into Naruto, as something held him with a tight hug. As the person held on to him tight, like they think that he was going to disappear. As Naruto was holding on to Temari, with a smile on his face. Miss me, he said. I thought that you died. As Naruto sighed. I'm sorry, he said. So everyone did not know, said Oniki. Naruto, I'm glad that you're okay, said Gaara, as he gave Naruto a smile. Huh, I'm glad as well, said Naruto. After all, if I wasn't, I would be dead, he said. You know, your humor is strange sometimes, said Sasuke. What are you talking about? My humor is just fine, he said. As Oniki looked towards him, Kazekage, you knew of this. Yes. It had to be kept a secret from most people, so that the masked man wouldn't target them. This was beneficial for you as well, Tachikage. He was already attacking the villages. We wouldn't want him to go after your village specifically for information. As Oniki stood there, it would have still been good to be in the loop to know what is exactly going on. Sorry about that, old man, said Naruto. But it was for the best, Naruto said. As Naruto then looked up to see Madara, as he was standing on the platform just looking down at them, with a smile on his face. Looks like he's getting ready to rumble. As Naruto then leaned down a bit. You know, you can't just be hugging me like that, he said. Temari was confused. As she looked up at him, she had a lot of feelings that she needed to sort out right now, but most of them angry at him, and Gar as well. But at the moment she just wanted to be held by him and to hold him. But she was pissed off that she didn't, and she was not, brought into the loop that he was alright. After all, it's been a couple of months, and it was hard to go through it. As she understand a few things now, Gar was always there. Well, she thought that he was just there as a loving brother. She knew that he would be there, but he was saying things like hints, saying that everything was going to be okay. She never once asked him why though, because she was just in her grief. But she understand why though, because he knew that Naruto was alive the entire time. She can be angry at him later, but for now. Wait, what did you just say? As she backed away from him. Oh, you don't understand, said Naruto. I've been asleep in a coma for 8 months now. So your body pressing up against me like that, it's making me feel, well, you know, said Naruto as he looked down. As a blush spread across her face. And that would be bad if I just take you and bend you over there on that rock and just, she placed a hand on his mouth. As she looked beside her, Gar and the others were there even though he was talking low. They could still hear him if they stepped a bit closer. We will deal with that later, she said. I'm just happy that you're alive. Me too, he said. After all, the alternative would be death. She punched him on the arm. Stop taking things so lightly, she said. As Naruto gave her a smile, don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine, he said. Well, that's unless Orochimaru pulled out a trump card. Something that is so strong it shocked everyone to their living core. And you don't feel like Madara Uchiha is something that powerful? Asked Onki. Well, he is a legend in his own right. But how do I say this, said Naruto. I've met a god. Madara leaped off the rock as he went through hand sign. He's ready, Sasuke said. All of the ninjas that were just looking at the golden blur snapped their head forward. Wood style, deep forest emergence, he said. As the ground started to crack, as plants erupted everywhere, a massive forest started to grow and rushed forward towards the allied shinobi forces. As all of them eyes went wide, Oniki flew up in the air as he went through hand sign. As a particle style started to form, but Naruto shot forward as Oniki noticed him. As Naruto went through hand sign of his own. Wood style, he said. Deep forest emergence, mimicking the same thing that Madara did as he slammed his hand down. As a large forest burst from the ground and rushed towards Madara's. The two things collided, shaking the ground as a force, trying to fight against each other. Madara started to pump more chakra into his wood style. He was a reanimation after all. But it was then that Naruto smirked, as he formed another hand sign. Light release. Exploding sun. All of his vines started to light up. Madara's eyes went wide as they erupted. An explosion so massive it ripped through the entire space in front of them. All the ninjas who were there that were witnessing this were beyond shock. The explosion rattled the ground. Everyone had to duck for cover as dust and debris was sent sailing. Sasuke looked at Naruto as yet again he was just amazed to think that he has become this strong while in a coma, and it seems that the wood style completely merged with him. Meanwhile, at the control center, what is going on out there? Asked Navi. I don't know, said Inoichi. It seems that they are out of commission at the moment. I cannot get in touch with anyone. As they had built up back the water spear, once again the thing exploded because of the amount of chakra. 2 times, said Nadia. She was confused. This was the second time this was happening. As A got to his feet, Mabi, prepare the teleportation, he said. But sir, that's enough, Mabi. And I'm coming as well, said Snaddy. Yo, you fool, you can't just leave us behind. What are you gonna let us do? Stay here and be ruled? Said Killer B as he stepped forward. B, you're not coming. What are you talking about, bro? Nino is out there, and he needs our help, so let's go. Then I'm coming as well, said Yujito, as she made her way forward. As A grumbled. They would be needed, said Snappy. As she looked at A, we still don't know what kind of trick Orochimaru up his sleeve or this masked man. And remember, Naruto's awake now, so he has the Rinnegan under his control. Remember, without it, the tail beasts cannot be gathered. Are you sure about this? As Snappy nodded, let's put our trust in them. After all, their strength will be needed on the battlefield. This war has just begun. But, said Mabe, those two will get that. It will be fine, said Yujito. I have just talked to Nibe and tell her what's going to happen. She's going to be healing me the moment we go through it. And Edo is with that too, said B. So let's get going, you fools, as he stepped forward. As Mabe sighed. As she watched, the rest of them came up. She had to do this. She just hoped all of them were going to be okay. Back in the battlefield, as the dust and smoke started to blow away, Madara was standing there. Miu's body was completely exploded as he was just being reformed. Madara was currently inside the Susanoo, protected by the shield of it, but most of it was broken into pieces. But at least he was okay. But he still had a big smile on his face, because that boy, he had the same mood style as him, not to mention the same eyes. Now this is something that he has been seeking, the thrill of battle, the thrill to dance. As he looked over, as he saw Naruto standing there, the rest of the allied shinobi forces started to get back to their feet. But they were just going to be a hindrance in this battle, as he just wanted to face Naruto all alone. Suddenly, Orochimaru took over Miu. As his head and neck and shoulders were reformed, his body was still lying on the ground and his legs were reforming. It seems like he has gotten a lot stronger than I have anticipated. But that doesn't matter. He will still not stand up to the might of all the greats of the past. He will fall today, Orochimaru said, as he looked over at Madara. I suppose it's time for you to stop playing around. Besides, if those hindrances keep on interfering, you will not have this battle that you seek so much. They will just be problematic and interfere in your battle. So why don't you take them out first? Send more of the Zetsus around here in the battlefield. I will be taking the 9 tailed Jinchurikis. He can't afford to be killed because he has my eyes. And also, we need the 9 tails from within him. Back over to Naruto. Naruto, you remember the promise that you made to me? Yeah, said Naruto, as he was currently in his mindscape looking at Kurama. I know. I'm gonna make him suffer. I just need enough chakra to pull off the seal. I'm working on it, said Kurama as his hands were together. His eyes were closed. Strange markings were around Kurama's eyes as he was gathering nature energy. After being with his father, Kurama realized one thing. If Naruto could do it, so could he, as he could literally just stand one place and stick together, and then pass on nature energy to Naruto. But he was working on something else, something that would turn the tide of this battle in their favor. After all, what was the greatest strength of reanimation? It was that their body was easy to be reanimated. So if that was out of the picture, then there will be no more great strength of theirs. Only thing you have to do is destroy their body and then seal the rest of them. That will be simply enough. But this will take a lot of chakra to do. After all, he's going to be surrounding the entire battlefield. And different continent, different nations out far, in the grass, outside in the sand, everywhere, there were ninjas all gathered. So the seal had to be spread all around. That is why at the current moment, the both of them were gathering chakra, Naruto and Kurama. And when we do the seal, I want you to beat him into oblivion, said Kurama. Oh come on, you know I'm gonna make him pay for controlling you, right? And also Obito when I find him, said Naruto. It seems like he's not on the battlefield yet, because I can't sense him anywhere. Probably hiding and scheming, but don't worry. Naruto felt something and he opened back his eyes. Suddenly, people then appeared. In a flash, as Naruto saw the Raikage, B, Snappy, and Yujito. Yujito dropped to one knee. Instantly, the effects of the teleportation waned on her body. But suddenly steam started to come from her body, as he started to be healed by the Nibe, who was forced out her chakra at one moment to make sure that she was safe. Killer Bee didn't seem to be in that state as well. Having the same build as the Raikage, they were able to withstand it. Snappy had to release her healing, as her body started to get healed. She quickly scanned the battlefield as the dust and debris was still everywhere. but she then spotted him. Naruto, she said. A big smile was on her face as Naruto walked over. Oh, come on, Granny, said Naruto. You're getting too old for this. You can't just teleport anywhere you want to right now. I mean, I would hate for your small bones to get broken in teleportation. Snappy growled at him, but he made her smile. After months of him just lying there, not saying anything unconscious, hearing his voice, seeing him awake was just wonderful. I miss you, Granny, said Naruto. I hope it hasn't been that bad without me. Well, hearing your voice now, I just forgot how annoying you was, she said. Oh, sure you have, he said, as he gave her a smile. Are you okay though, he asked. Don't worry, I'll be fine, she said. As Oniki then came over. Yo, Mr. 9, said Killer B as he came over, as he held out his fist. As Naruto smiled. Ayo, it's glad to see you, he said, as he bumped fists with Killer B. So, what's the big deal? I thought you were supposed to be swimming the fishes, and unable to be seen. Well, that was kind of a mix-up, said Naruto, as he then turned, as he saw Yujito standing there. She had risen back to her feet. She had a smile on her face, as her cheeks were already red, just looking at him. As he stepped forward, you didn't tell him, said Naruto. Judging by your reaction, you know that I was awake. And how can you tell that by my reaction, she asked. Oh, I just know you, said Naruto. Well, I didn't. Knowing him and his big mouth, I didn't tell him anything. So most people didn't know, said Oniki as he came over. We are sorry for deceiving you. Well, not informing you, Tishikage-dano, but this was necessary to keep Naruto safe. So who knew? Asked Oniki. It was just the members of his household, and also the other Kages. Next time you will be brought in loop as well. We were just doing this to keep your country safe, and at the moment, you did not seem too invested in keeping those eyes protected away from the masked man. So we were doing this just in case. As Oniki just grumbled about being included, it seemed that the man was a bit angry same way. But he quickly shrugged that off. What about this girl, he asked. She isn't a part of Konoha. I'm a liaison between the villages. So I was staying at his household, she said. Yes, she was, said Naruto as he looked at her. Oh, is that the problem? Asked Yujito, as she gave him a flirtatious wink. As Naruto stepped forward. Oh, it's not, said Naruto. It's just better this way. What is, she asked, as he leaned over. Oh, so at nighttime when I get that urge, I can just come over to your room. And, you know, he said, as she blushed even more. Well, when this war is over. The moment it is, said Naruto, I'll be taking you. Because it's been a really long time. I think you're gonna have a hard time walking after I'm over with you. Oh, is that so? She said. Well, I'm looking forward towards it. As Snazzy eyebrow twitched. She was the closest to them, so she could hear what they were saying. Are you two done? She asked, as Temar and the others looked over at her. Yeah, just about, said Naruto. So can you guys buy me some time? As Sasuke came over, what are you planning on doing? Well, something that will end this war rather quickly, he said. I have a sealing, a long-time sealing from the Uzumaki arts, but I tweaked it a bit. It is able to nullify most jutsus. But to the point of not complete, the Edo Tensei is quite strong, and the caster is still alive. But it will be able to nullify their reanimation. So once you hit them or take off their arms. Wait, are you saying that if we hit them this time, they're gonna stay down one of the ninja's axe? Yes, that is exactly right, said Naruto. But you guys will have to stall these guys, Naruto said as he looked forward. As he saw hundreds of white Zetsus rising up out of the ground. As they were here to aid Madara, as he was walking forward, as Miu was flying right beside him. It's gonna take me a while to gather the necessary chakra to surround the entire battlefield to help the other ninjas. As he looked over, can you relay the information to the others and tell them, give me a couple of minutes? Sure. As the information was relayed back to the headquarters and relayed back to the others, many people were shocked when they heard the name, that it was a golden blur who was sending out this order. So Inoichi felt that it was in his best favor to tell everyone that Naruto was back and he was in the running. And he was here, fighting alongside with them. Many people felt a boost in morale, hearing that the golden blur was back on the battlefield. So how long will it take you? Asked Navi, as she looked towards Naruto. 5 minutes, said Naruto, to gather the necessary chakra, to spread it everywhere. So I need you guys to buy me. Suddenly there was a flash. as Mei Torumi appeared, as she was surrounded by 4 other ninjas. As Naruto looked up at her, "Did you really think you were going to do this without me?" she asked. As she gave Naruto a smile. "Oh no," he said. "I was just waiting for you to arrive." "Oh, and you 4. I see you still have to use each other to do that jutsu," said Naruto. As the man eyebrow twitched. Are you mocking us?" "Well, I'm just saying I can do the Harishin by myself, but it takes all of you, so..." "Not really," said Naruto. "Huh, the cheeky brat is mocking us." "I don't know what you're talking about," said Naruto. "Oh, and they're coming," he said. The ninjas all around start to feel back the hope coming to them, as soon enough they will have the spirit enough to strike down these reanimations and make sure they don't get back up. "Alright everyone, show them hell," said Naruto. "Why does it seem like he's the one in charge?" said Sasuke. "Huh, he's always that way," said Yujito as she looked over at him as she gave him a smile. Meanwhile, at Konoha, as Kushina was sitting down, as she was just outside, looking out in space, as she was wondering how Big Brother was doing. She hoped that he was okay, doing fine out there. He just got back, and she didn't want anything to happen to him. She wanted him to always be here with them, as she could just only pray that he was going to be safe. She shook those thoughts out of her head. Yes, he was going to be fine, he told her, so there was no need in doubting him. He was going to be just fine, she thought to herself. Meanwhile, inside the house, as Yujiro poured some tea. "Thank you," said Konan as she took the cup. "You're welcome," said Yujiro, as the both of them were sitting at the table. "So the reason I want to talk to you is about my living arrangement." As Yujiro looked at Konan, I'm all grateful to you for letting me stay here, because Jiraiya didn't want to leave me in that cell, for me to lose my mind, as he said. But I think he's just looking out for me to make sure I'm okay. Yes, he's quite gentle towards you. Yes, he is. As she then looked back over at Yujiro. I just want to try and find some common ground between the two of us. You still hate me for what I did, what I was a part of. I don't hate you in particular. It just... every time I saw you, I was angry. Was? Yes. Naruto is back now and he's okay. There's no reason to hold on to old grudges. And you've been through a lot. So I've taken it upon myself to forgive you for all that you did. As long as you don't do anything stupid as this again. I will never, said Konan. So, it's okay. Can we be on some common grounds with each other? Yes. Just try not to sleep with my son. Your son? I'm talking about Naruto. After everything we've been through, I've seen him as my younger brother, and also as my own son, growing him and being there with him. And try not to sleep with him, okay? I wasn't thinking about that, said Konan. And I wouldn't, she said. You know there's an age difference, right? Yes, I know. And the damn cheeky brat is just so charming for his own good. So just watch yourself, okay? Because he's gonna come at you like a lion seeking his prey. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to withstand it. Oh, trust me, I will be fine, said Konan. I won't give in to him. I didn't think that was a problem. Well, you will see once he returned then. The other girls all fell for him. Other girls? Oh, you don't know. Well, being the last member of the clan, you see, he's under the Clan Restoration Act. You mean he's under CRA? You know about it? Yes, it was a well thought thing in the inner ring for clans that are about to die out. So that means he can sleep with the girls that he like. And if they know each other well, they won't be at argue with each other throats. Because it's for his clan. Yes. And don't get any funny ideas just because you heard of that. Oh, I will not, said Konan. I don't think it's a big deal though. I already told you. There's an age difference and I would not do that. That's what you say now. Let's just wait and see, said Yujiro. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the group was separated as the 5 Kages along with Sasuke went over as he was currently taking on Madara while the other forces were taking on the White Zetsus. There was a wooden cavern right in the center of the battlefield, along to the back where the ninjas were. A few of them were protecting it. Temari for her long range Genjutsu, so if any of the White Zetsus come near, she could just blow them simply away. As Yujito was in front of her, slicing down anyone that even dare try to come anywhere near them, as her claws, her fingernails were extended as they were coated in a blue flame as she was taking them down. As she managed to strike down the few last ones that were there. You know, you're a real bitch, you know that? As Yujito turned towards Temari. What? I mean, aren't we friends, she asks. The two of them have gotten to know each other by Naruto. After all, he was in CRA. He introduced most of the women together. And all of them, they got along well. Because they know what was in stake when they joined up for this. And he was just so goddamn charming. And he also treated all of them equally. Why am I a bitch now, she asks. I already told you that I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you because it was information I need to know. You knew how I felt about him, but you hide this information from me. I mean, we are good friends. And about that one time, I thought that Yuzito blushed when Temar said that one time, making Temar blush as well. Never mind that, she said. But you could have at least just tell me. I would have kept it secret. I know. But Naruto would have been angry if anything happened to you. And I would have hated myself if anything happened to you as well. And what you said is true. We're even more than friends. I mean, the both of us are going after the same guy. And the way we love him, and he loves us in that way. For the both of us to be there with him and there was no complications. To show you how much love that he has and how much love that he gives. And I wouldn't want anything happen to you because I went and blabbed my mouth. That is why I kept it to myself when I found out. And I had to. So can you forgive me, she asks. She looked at Temari. I don't know, said Temari. What about next time? I do that thing again. A larger blush spread across Temari's face. Just watch the battlefield, she said. As Yujito just chuckled. As she went on and started to take down the white Zetsus. As Temari had her friend in front of her, making sure that none of the white Zetsus would come here. Meanwhile, Orochimaru was currently watching the battlefield. He didn't know what Naruto was doing at the moment, as he could see through new eyes every now and then. But at the moment things were going stable. The five Kages thought they were a match for Madara, but Madara was holding back. But that was not the case. Naruto hasn't joined the battlefield yet. He has been strangely off-putting at that. Yes, that has been rather strange. But if he would put it in his own way, he would want to be there so he can carve out his heart himself, to make him suffer. As Orochimaru chuckled to himself, well, that was not the case. After all, he has a plan. He has a plan that was going to change everything. Suddenly, a swirling vortex appeared. As Obito arrived, he stood there. You seem angry. Despite the mask, he could feel it. Yes, the masked man was furious. He was pissed off. So you found out, haven't you, that he's not dead? Where were you? I was doing something, said Obito. And then I found out that he's alive. And you, what have you done? I told you not to bring that to the battlefield yet. Oh, I'm sorry. But the reanimations and others were getting slaughtered out there. So I had to bring out something that was useful. As Obito clenched his fist. So what now, boss? Said Orochimaru in a mocking tone. Obito could hear the way that he said that word and phrased it, but he said nothing about it. The main priority right now is to capture the Golden Blur. He is their biggest morale for this battle. Now that they know he's alive, they think he will give them hope and how to survive. But those eyes of his. He's been gone for so long I have no idea what he's been up to, if he was training, if he was even conscious at the entire time. Because after bringing back so many people, he was still able to live through that. Obito smashed his fist into the wall, breaking it. Don't go and break in my hideout because of your anger right now. And why are you so angry? I still haven't yet pulled out my real trump card to end this. As Madara smiled to himself, as he had 3 more pieces that he hasn't touched yet. They will be on the board soon, and once I do, this war of yours, it will all be over. Because not even the elemental nations can stand up to his wrath, he said. All of them work together as a singular unit. Not even the Golden Blur is that powerful. Obito stood there though. There was something strange. Zetsu could feel it when Naruto entered the battlefield. His body was just pulsing with so much yin, and he had chakra. It was abnormal, like something had fueled his body to the limit. Even though Zetsu was not anywhere near him, he could feel the enormous pressure, and yet he couldn't feel a dip of Naruto chakra. It was like it was just hollowed, or he was blocking him somehow from sensing it. Meanwhile, Zetsu was by himself. Something was wrong, as he was underground, as he could feel Naruto above him, but it felt like Naruto was blocking him somehow, that he couldn't feel the limits of his chakra. Something was wrong with him, and he could also feel something that was resembling to his mother, but that was impossible, right? Probably it was because of, no, it couldn't be the Rinnegan. That was just a backwater power of what his mother really had. Her eyes were much more grander than that. The sage, but that was impossible. Naruto had no contact with the sage and the man died a long time ago, so that was impossible. As Zetsu shot that away, as he moved away, he couldn't allow himself to be discovered right now. He was simply his black form, liquidated in the earth, as he was waiting on the perfect opportunity to strike. If he had control of that body, he could do as he pleased, yes. And once he does, Mother would be back, and everything would be under his control. For him to bring everything in the right position to bring Mother back, yes, he can still bring the plan back on track. This golden blur, he will not stop him no matter what. Zetsu then felt it as Naruto stood up, so he backed away. The house around Naruto then crumbled down. Standing there as my shining armor, said Naruto as Temari looked at him. As he gave her a smile, she smiled back at him. Are you done? She said. Yeah, said Naruto, as he created a clone. The clone then poofed away. I'll be right back, he said to her. And with that he raced off into the center of the battlefield. Suddenly, the group jumped away from Madara. They had tried successful way of sealing him, but still up to this point they haven't sealed him yet. Sasuke hasn't gone full out because he knew that Madara was still holding back. He too had the Eternal Monkey Sharingan. And he has not brought out Susanoo yet. A few other reanimation were on the battlefield. As they were being sealed by the other ninjas, they were not as strong. Most of them just weak ninjas, ordinary ninjas, that were brought back by Orochimaru. Naruto stood in the middle of the battlefield, on the other areas with Jiraiya and Haku, and a distance where Naruto was by himself, the other clone, and another clone was by himself. All of them had completed the seal in a race. Naruto slammed his hand together and went through a complex series of hand signs, 258 hand signs. As he then slammed his hand on the ground, him and all the clones, a massive pulse of chakra erupted everywhere. It drained out of Naruto as fast as he gathered it, even faster, as it went all around a sealing ray, spread across the entire place. It seemed to go on for miles and miles and miles. Back at the hideout, Orochimaru felt something. What is this? He said, as he felt Naruto enter back the battlefield, but he didn't know what he just did. Orochimaru looked over as he grabbed the 4 other petals. He was just gonna end this now. He couldn't afford Naruto to do anything else tricky, as he placed them on the board. Back on the battlefield, Yamanaka was placing her hand on Naruto's head. It's done, said Naruto, as Inoichi got the information. Inoichi quickly spread the information towards the other ninjas. Back on the other battlefield, Anko watched as Naruto that was there turned into a tree. Yes, he grew like a tree, after turning to a strange wooden clone. And the tree was just perfectly there, with a strange seal array all over it. What the hell? She said, as a reanimation made his way over to her, one of those random ninjas, so he wasn't really of a match, as she cut right through his arm. The man spun back around, but suddenly something was wrong. His arm, it was not reforming. Anko then got information. Inoichi? Yes, Anko, it's me. Listen up. All around battlefield, the ninjas started to get information. Morale started to burst even higher, as they find out that the reanimations could now be injured. They could actually hurt them. And once they do slice off their arms and legs, it will be easier to seal them, or have a juice strong enough to obliterate their body. Ninjas all around started to get massive morale, knowing that this war was going to soon come to an end for them to visit their loved ones. Back on the real battlefield with Naruto, as Naruto was standing there, as night had come already, the place was dark. He felt a bit winded from that, but he could feel his chakra reserve replenishing, as Kurama was releasing the excess amount of chakra back into his system. Kurama still had on Sage Mode because he was not moving, he was just standing there, and the Sage Mode was constantly being pumped into Naruto. But Naruto just hadn't turned on the floodgates yet, as he quickly made his way over towards where the real battle was entailing. As Naruto arrived, as Sasuke was kicked away violently as he crashed to the ground. A roar could be heard as Madara summoned up his Susanoo and swinged his hand violently. As Naruto dashed forward and went through hand sign, he then took in a deep breath. As he fired out a spear out of his mouth, made from pure light, it pierced right through Madara's Susanoo. Madara raised his hand and pulled himself out of the way as it tear right through his hand. As the hole surprised him, Orochimaru was confused. Mew landed down beside Madara. "What have you done?" he said as he was speaking as Orochimaru as he looked towards Naruto. As Naruto simply smiled, Orochimaru became furious. This was it, he had enough. He was done with this. It was time for that boy to die. 3 more coffins then appeared out of the ground as their legs fell over. Suddenly, Snavy and the others were surprised. Snavy mostly, because 2 of them were their family, and 1 of them was Naruto's. "Well, you think you're strong, Golden Blur. Let's see how you stand up to the greats of the past." As the 3 people stepped out of the coffin, as it was the first, the second, and the 4th Hokage standing there, as they all stood beside Madara. "Hoshirama," said Madara. Hoshirama looked around as he took in everything. As Tobirama looked around as well. Minato, eyes open as he looked around as well. He looked at his hand. "This is a reanimation," said Tobirama. "Who did this?" he says. He looked around. He then looked down to see the forces that they were facing. "Wait, Snavy?" he said. "Grand-uncle," said Snavy. "Grandfather," she said. She looked towards Hoshirama as he was surprised. "We have been brought back to life of the living to fight against our own village and family," Hoshirama said. "Naruto," said Minato. "Oh, hey there, Dad," said Naruto. "No more talking," Orochimaru said from Mew, as suddenly all of the reanimation's eyes went wide, even Madara. "No emotion to hold them back this time," said Orochimaru, as all of them looked like some zombies. "Hey, Sasuke," said Naruto. "Share fist bump with me," he said. "What?" "Just do it, okay?" As the both of them bumped fists together, Sasuke was confused until he felt it. "Is this correct?" he asked. "Yeah, go kill that bastard." "What about you guys?" "Don't worry, I'll be fine. And you can put a haste on killing him, because when you do, you can just come back here and help us, in case we won't be fine." "Huh. What's wrong with your usual confidence?" asked Sasuke. "Well, I am going to be up against 3 Hokages, and a man that's said to be near Hoshirama's level, well, not quite on par. And given their state that they're in right now, they don't really give a damn about us because their emotions won't be holding them back." "But I'm not worried," said Naruto. "After all, I have one thing driving me." "What's that?" said Sasuke. "I haven't had sex in 8 months," said Naruto. "So I can't die not doing it in 8 months." Everyone's sweat dropped. "Really?" said Snavy, as she held her fist, wanted to punch him, but this was not time. "Oh, sorry about that, Bachan," he said. "Sasuke, just do it, okay? The sooner you get rid of the guy, the sooner you can come back here." Sasuke nodded as he dashed off, as he activated Susanoo as it took off into the sky. The Kages looked towards Naruto confused, as he gave them a reassuring look though. Suddenly, all of them created a clone of their own. The reanimation clones shot forward as they tackled the 5 Kages. The Kages jumped back as none of them went after Naruto, but at the last moment notice, all of them jumped forward as they surrounded Naruto in a large dome. Madara, Hoshirama, Minato, and Tobirama all entered the dome. As all of the clones went through hands and slammed their hand on the ground, a massive red barrier came up around them, trapping them and Naruto inside. Suddenly, Minato then spoke. "Ah, Naruto," he said. But it was Orochimaru. "Now that you're all trapped in here, you'll be getting no assistance from the outside." As Naruto started to laugh. "What's so funny?" he asked. "You should know, I'm not trapped in there with them. They're trapped in here with me," said Naruto, as he looked at both of his palms, as he could feel the power rushing through him. "I've been holding back on using this power yet. I haven't even gone 100%. Let's see how they do against me now," said Naruto as he cracked his neck, as he hopped on his feet. "I mean, I'm kind of liking this. Facing off against 4 of the greats. to test my true skills to see how far I've come as a ninja. Thanks for the challenge, Orochimaru. I know that they can go down with my blows. It's not like fighting reanimations. It's fighting like real humans. And I also want to see what my dad is fully capable of. So yeah, thanks for this, said Naruto. But don't worry, you will be dead soon, Naruto said. You really think you can kill me? Orochimaru said. As Naruto said nothing, but he simply smiled. As the ground started shaking violently, the more Naruto bounced on his ball of his heels. Kurama, you ready? Yeah, let's do this, Kurama said. As Naruto's body exploded with pure power. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If it was the next part of this or two, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. And also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Traveled to Hoshirama's Time. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.